for a man to be a man, he has to be able to control his sex drive. He has to understand what his sexual energy really is.
The strongest of all energies is the sexual energy. From the root chakra, you can transform that energy going up to the brain.
Black magic, do you really think it's real?
There is another type of entities, and these entities can be called as ghosts, can be called as demons. Many times we could see even how the body was transforming. One day I was looking and you could see actually how the limbs were like changing. The person was transforming, her voice was changing. I really believe like it was something coming out from that soul. If we talk about higher love, is actually I don't expect you to serve me, but I will serve you with all my care, all my love, all my attention, without that expecting nothing in return. That's true love. That's why Krishna means the supreme attractive. He attracts everyone. I have experienced in my subconscious, I have seen some visions.
Ambika, welcome to Under the Tree.
Thank you very much. Very grateful to be here.
Of course. And, you know, before I say this, I'm sure that the viewers would totally agree with what I'm about to say, but you're very beautiful from the outside, but more than that, you're a beautiful human being on the inside.
Thank you very much.
Of course.
Kind.
You know, I recently saw a post of yours on Instagram, and it truly touched my heart. You talked about what it really means about being a man. How, for a man to be a man, he has to be able to control his sex drive. He has to understand what his sexual energy really is. In fact, you even mentioned specific examples where you talked about athletes and how a lot of athletes before their games, they make sure to abstain from sexual activities because they understand how potent that sexual energy really is.
Yeah, I see.
And I would love for you to shed some light on that, especially for the viewers. Yeah.
Yeah, well, this happened because of a story. One question, of course, some men feel like very weak in that area. Like the sex drive is very intense that they cannot control it. And it's actually true, is the strongest of all energies is the sexual energy. If you see, we are all coming from that energy.
Yeah.
So it's vitality. And if a man especially cannot control this urge, so many disasters happen, as we know recently, 30 days ago, a big disaster happened in Calcutta. I feel like this is the main example of a man who really cannot control this sex drive and is just allowing all these desires that turns very dark and commit such a offense to women, especially. I don't want to go to that topic, but it's abuse in many living beings. So I feel like the men have to be very strong enough. They have to understand that it's a path for them to really take care of this vitality they have inside, because it's such a strong and powerful energy. That's why you were mentioned like football, basketball, boxers, they absence from sex for weeks before a match. So they can feel strong, not just physically, but mentally. So they have strategies. So imagine if a man can take care of that energy. And, you know, we start with the mudra that we have here. There is many ways that you can focus with that mudra. And from the root chakra, you can like transform that energy going up to the brain. And you will see much, like in a much wiser ways, you can say, like more clear. Your mind will open more. And it's kind of like you can experience till you do it again. I can share something with you that we practice in the ashrams as brahmacharis. We were following all these practices to keep that energy, women and men. You could see how the men were learning verses from the Bhagavatam, and they can recite faster because they were following celibacy. So you can see that's why we follow brahmacharya. A brahmachari means they are students. They learn skills they focus in reading the scriptures to learn. It's like the student life. So I feel when a man actually needs this kind of like a stage on his life to follow celibacy. And yeah, for me, I know maybe it sounds fanatic for some, but I feel like when you find your partner, then you a true partner, and
Totally
ideally
something,
when it's love and exchange, then that energy can be shared. And of course, as many cultures share the same idea that is for procreation, no? But if not, do it with love, not just throw it and waste it. These are very important energies. Very valuable energies, your vitality. So make yourself strong. If you are a man, take this like a very, very important source for you to become stronger in many aspects.
Beautifully said. And I'm so glad that you brought up the concept of love, because that's one of the things I really wanted to talk about today, because I feel like the love is not understood in its purest form these days, especially because of the dating culture. And first it used to be in the US only, and a lot of the Western countries, you had Bumble, you had Tinder, all these apps. And the relationships are mostly situationships. And it was based on an appearance that you make of yourself, whether that's just through a few photos or a short bio of a certain word. So at the end of the day, you're trying to impress someone. It's not based on two human beings really understanding what's beneath that, beneath the outside, beneath this bodysuit, right? And I wanted to talk to you, according to you, what is true love?
True love, wow. I feel like love is that beautiful energy in exchange of serving each other. Without, if we talk about higher love, is actually I don't expect you to serve me, but I will serve you with all my care, all my love, all my attention, without that expecting nothing in return. That's true love. But nowadays, that's one of the most difficult love to find, because we are always expecting attention. If I give you this, you give me that. And like you say now, sadly, if someone is attracted to someone, I'll give you something, you give me pleasure. It's just like I will give you something, you give me something. It's not that love without expecting anymore. And I feel when you understand that love is service, then you can love. Like your mother love you without expecting nothing. Yeah, maybe love is there. You are fulfilling her heart. But she's serving you. Since you are a baby, she's trying to feed you. She's sleepless, trying to stop you crying. And that is so much beautiful love without expecting, no? She's just loving you because you are part of her. And I feel that's one of the most closest and sincere love we can experience in this material aspect. But of course, when we speak about love, we always imagine the male and the female, no? The connection that is the strongest at the same time. You cannot deny that. When you are in love, you always think about that person. You eat and you can just remember. If you listen that name, you feel butterflies in your stomach when you are in love, no? But I feel like if we don't protect that love, if we don't nurture that love, not just in the physical attraction, but going more into a spiritual connection, then it's not going to last. And that's why people get tired and they change of partners, and they're craving again for that feeling. But that feeling will never last. So we need to go above from that attraction, physical attraction, to something more deep that is spiritual. And I feel when people connect in that aspect, they can really reach to what we say pure love.
Wow, so well put. I mean, the fact that you brought up the concept of that love is not give and take, right? That love is a form of service. That's, I totally relate to that. Especially, I'm so happy you brought the love between a son or a daughter to his mother, because that love is unconditional.
Yeah, it is.
that love isn't about give and take. A mother doesn't do what she does because she expects something in return, right? She does it because it's out of that purity and and once you realize that, then if you want to have a relationship and get married to someone, then sure, but understand what true love is. It's not physical. It's not just physical intimacy, right?
Exactly.
So beautiful put. And now that we are talking about love, I would love for you to talk about your love for Krishna.
My love for Krishna.
Yes.
Wow. Well, my journey starts by, to be honest, it's not a moment in my life that I was atheist or that I doubt of God. I am coming actually from Christian family, and I still love many of the practice. When I'm with my family, we read the Bible, we pray, but of course, Krishna comes in your path in a miracle ways. And in Colombia, this happened in my country only, in South America. I connect with Krishna, and the first time I listen his pure names, they teach me the mantra, and I feel like just by connecting with his names, that's the way that will say, I cannot say I fall in love of him, but it attracts me a lot. That's why Krishna means the supreme attractive. He attracts everyone.
That's true. He does.
So he catch me. He catch me, and I was just in my house. I was just 15 years old, and I was just reciting the Mahamantra, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And even I remember that I went to my house and I was teaching my brother and my little sister this mantra. And I was like, chant with me. I just learned this. And they said, if you chant this, you will feel protected and you will feel secure. And I was just the happiest. And they say, yeah, if you chant this, you will be happy. And I could experience just without knowledge, without reading any scriptures. It was just automatic. It was just a calling to my soul, to my heart. So I connect to Krishna by the Mahamantra, by his holy names.
Beautiful, beautiful. I would love for you to talk about the power of doing mantras and chanting, because it's such a vast concept, and it's getting popular throughout the world. I mean, look at Krishna Das. He's popularized chanting. Somebody, I had the privilege of doing a podcast with him a while back.
Wow, beautiful.
The power that came
Yeah,
from it.
his voice is like, you are like, I don't know how to feel. It's like you are.
He says he's singing. He just closes his eyes. He doesn't even open his eyes when he sings. He's not just singing for show. He's not singing to entertain.
You can see everyone connects through his kirtans, through his chant.
Yeah.
Well, mantras, I believe everyone knows that are the most powerful. They're as prayers, very deep. I will say prayers are kind of like, I do both. I do mantras and I do prayers. My prayers are more like something that I create for God. I see it's like my diary with my voice to him. Whatever wants to come from my heart, that's a prayer for me. And the mantras is this powerful and a strong sound vibration that really are so intense, so powerful that really the meaning is man is the mind, and true liberation is when you can liberate yourself from this mind, these thoughts, and really focus in the spiritual platform with God, with the divine. Mantras are powerful. It's just you can really feel it. If you've never been in kirtan, especially, I feel like you have must experience, because it's one of the most wonderful experience that you really feel in pure divinity around you. And especially the Maha mantra, that is the one I connect for the first time. Maha is the greatest. And of course, this mantra, as they say, is just to glorify Krishna and Radha. So it's the union between Krishna and Radha. It's just names of Radharani and Krishna, and saying how Krishna is the most attractive and Radharani is that internal love inside us, inside Krishna. So it's uniting both names and glorify the pure love. So when you are in the pure love, of course, it's joy and happiness. So that's why we have that chant Hare Krishna and be happy. And I really experience it.
For me personally, I was always like a skeptic. Even though my family was primarily Hindu,
Okay.
and I went to a Catholic high school, so I was introduced to a lot of different religious views. But at the end of the day, I was kind of agnostic early on, and I was very much just skeptic and trying to read all the texts and seeing what is what. And I never thought I would ever be so glued to Krishna.
Wow.
As I am
Yeah,
now.
I see in your house. It's
you can
Krishna
see it.
all over.
It's a
Very
whole other
beautiful.
level. And now that I look back to it, when I was 6 years old, I started by, on stage performing, dancing, and on a lot of Bollywood, hip hop, everything. And I was my first performance on stage in front of 1,000 people was like when I was 6 or 7 years old, and it was me playing Krishna.
Oh,
And
wow.
I was a little kid, and I was playing the flute. And I remember I had to literally cross my feet like this in the flute position, and I was just holding that position for like 30 to 40 minutes. The blessing of Krishna has always been there, and now he's completely changed my life, not only like as a human being, but even as an artist. And I'm sure you can relate to this. You're such a beautiful dancer. Like when
I mean, no, I'm not a beautiful dancer, but I do try
I've seen your videos. You dance with your heart, and that's the difference when you get connected to whether it's spirituality or whether it's someone like Krishna. When you're doing as an artist, when you're performing, you're not just performing just to entertain people. Your vision becomes bigger. You're performing out of love. You're performing
and to share. To share that feeling. I feel that's the most important. I was very, very shy before. Too shy. I mean, I'm a bit shy still, it doesn't look like. But before, I couldn't dance. My dream was to dance and to sing, I'll tell you.
Amazing, perfect.
It was like my dream to be a singer, my dream to be a dancer, but I was super shy. I couldn't even speak to elders. It was that extreme. And I feel like Krishna consciousness, the path of being in this beautiful path of Krishna Bhakti, it changed so much in me. Like so many things. I start singing mantras. That's how, like, if you ask me to sing, I cannot sing any English or Spanish song. I can only sing mantras. And if you ask me to dance, I'm Colombian, but I don't dance the salsa. I dance even Krishna Lilas, that is Odissi. And my dreams turn, like Krishna fulfilled my dreams in his path. So this is very interesting because all started when I went to Vrindavan.
Okay.
My dream was to sing. I was like, Krishna, I want to sing. And the only way I was starting was playing harmonium and singing some mantras. And the only way I start dancing, I was saying, yeah, I'm going to be a dancer. It was dancing Odissi that I didn't know. Mostly all dance and performance is just Krishna Lilas for Jagannath-ji, that all what they dance for him is about Krishna's pastime with the gopis and Radharani. So I'm amazed how Krishna fulfilled my desires, my big desires, but all is in his path. So it's very interesting to see this. And I don't feel shy when I have to do these things. But if you ask me to dance another thing, I'm like, okay, let me try. Or if you ask me to sing another song, I'm like, but if it's all connected, I completely forget about this body, and I'm doing like with the soul. Like it's very connected to, I don't want to say I'm like that high level person, but I'm just sharing with you what I feel. I don't feel shy doing these two things.
Exactly. I totally relate to you as a singer and dancer myself.
Yeah.
When it's so weird. I've made so many originals. A lot of them are just kind of entertaining originals and classic pop songs. But then once I just recently made this song called Avadagi, which is a Hindi word, but in English it basically means you're a wanderer. Like we're just wandering souls.
Okay.
And it's about my spiritual journey. And when I do that, or when I sing my bhajans, whether it's Kushwari Kuchesa, Shri Krishna Govind, I'm just in a, like, just like you said, you forget, and like you're in that state. It's like a meditative state. And my guruma, I have, thank God, I have a Hindustani classical guruma who told me that when you're singing, especially when you're doing bhajans and mantras like you do, you're not just singing. It's called Shabd Yog. You are in a form of a meditative state.
You're really connecting, no? It's a real yoga. It's a real meditation.
It is.
Yeah. And what a beauty is to share that. So yeah, we have to break it and dance more and sing more.
Now I'm gonna change the gears a little bit.
Okay.
Just because I feel like a lot of viewers they've gotten the taste of love. They've understood what love truly means now. Now I want to go a little bit dark. Right?
Okay.
Just because I feel like a lot of people are
The nice topic.
the nice
For
topic.
some people.
For some people. Just because I feel like it's also important for the viewers to get clarity on the dark side, right? You know, ever since I was a kid, because I'm into acting, whether it's watching movies or reading scripts, I was always interested in horror scripts.
Okay.
And in the beginning, maybe I used to get scared when I was a kid. Now I look at it as comedy. a lot of the movies that are made. But I always wondered, how much truth is it to this? You know, if you can talk a little bit about black magic, a little bit about the dark arts, experience, like, do you really think it's real?
Well, many people will call me crazy, those who never ever experienced, but since child, I saw it, and it's not because I'm crazy. I also share with many friends that have some sense a bit more open than other people. But yeah, we are prakriti, you know, in this world. We are mostly made of different type of material. But there are other type of entities that are spiritual or even on another planet. Some people don't yet believe. No, even in other planets, people still don't believe that there is living entities over there. So I find that part quite of crazy, that we believe we are the only living beings, of course, with animals, but it's actually much more. If you open in the Vedic scriptures or any scriptures, they are talking of these subtle bodies, that is spiritual bodies. Some of these spiritual bodies we don't see. We are actually spiritual souls. This is just our motor. This is kind of like our vehicle, but there is another type of entities, and these entities can be called as ghosts, can be called as demons or subtle bodies. Some people just call it like that. So of course, if you can feel even some energies around you, can be positive or negative. There you can find both. Depends where are your surrounders. No, of course, if we are more into positive energy, positive thoughts, good people, good habits, we won't face that much. And I'm not saying when I was a child I was having bad habits. I was quite pure, like a normal child. But my mother used to be kind of like an exorcist in those times. She's a Christian. Many Christians do this type of practices that are very intense. So I could see a lot. I could experience a lot. I saw many different entities. I saw moving stuff. It's not just my mind. I was with my brother, sister. They all could see, even friends of my mother, even my mother. Like, we all could see.
So you witnessed your mom like doing an exorcism?
Yes, and it was very intense. Like, voices that you will never ever thought in your life. Like, actually, like a horror movies. I feel like horror movies is just people experience these type of things and they want to recreate it, because most of these things are actually truth. But yeah, many people say it's just schizophrenia or something like that. But I feel, come on, we cannot just be the only living entities here. It's much more. And you can actually feel the presence of a person. Some person can carry one energy that is kind of strong, or a person that is presence that is more divine. Something is with that, with that. I will say, like, a personality is with that person. If you are carrying Krishna with you, you will find the divine in that person, and it's an energy around you. Some people feel angels are with them. Some people may feel, sadly, ghosts around them. Some people can have that. Some people can. Someone close in the family die, and they can still feel the presence. That much people can understand. But also, it happens with people who have more open the sense, I feel. Yeah, but I do agree that we cannot be just the only ones. Even the scriptures, the Vedas, I 100% believe in the Vedas. The Vedas actually speak about this type of entities.
Yeah, no, 100%. I'm so happy you brought that up because like now there's so many scientists that are researching into different dimensions and stuff. And our Vedas, our scriptures already talk about that.
Yeah.
Those different dimensions, you know, and it's like you were talking about exorcisms. And you know, I watched this show called Evil. I don't know if you've heard of
No.
so it's a show in U.S. and it's basically a whole show. Every episode, it's about it's a part of the Catholic Church, and they're doing exorcisms, and it's like very much in detail.
So it's a real life. It's not just a.
No, it is a scripted show.
Okay.
But they base it off of like a lot of like kind of
things that happen.
things that have happened.
Yeah.
And base it off of people's actual encounters, kind of that has happened that has been recorded within the Catholic Church. And you know, I all these videos in every episode. I watch all these like exorcisms, and I see that devil, that kind of negative force, it comes out of that person while they're doing the exorcism. And you know, whether they're putting holy water on them or all these things. When you witness the exorcism, whether it was as a kid or whenever that your mom was doing, did you see that happen? Did you see that negative force kind of come out of the individual?
Well, the thing is, we were not allowed to be there because it was actually intense, so we could actually hear. But yeah, many times we could see even how the body was transforming. Like sometimes we were like, because you know, my mother was kind of like a big preacher. She still is, but now she's more, again, she went more to introvert. She wants to pray mostly for her dear ones, not have like a followers. But she was like a spiritual master with followers. That huge she was, and I remember, one day I was looking, and you could see actually how the limbs were like changing, and the person was like a real movie, you know, like she was kind of transforming. Her voice was changing. It was like, I don't really you have to be a very great actor to do something like that, but I really believe like it was something coming out from that soul, from that body. And yeah, actually, I feel like depends of your activities, depends of what you feed your mind, feed your vision, all that will come to you. If you just watch negativity, sometimes that energy can catch you. If you watch too much violence, if you like all that environment all the time, you will feel that heavy energy on you. If you are a gossiper and you just speak bad about everyone, something can possess you, and just you don't realize anymore how you're criticizing others. So I feel it's not just a demon in that area, but also we have inside of us that little demon and the little angel. So it also depends on our practices. I feel like you are the one who feed yourself. Do you want to feed it with good energy or with something negative? And we do have both. I feel like you can try to go to the spiritual path, but you have to leave outside some of the bad habits. That's why the spiritual path is always about honesty, about truthful. So I feel like if you just engage yourself in lies, in gambling or something like that, it's going to bring your consciousness a bit down. And energies, especially drugs, alcohol, many people, they are not anymore themselves when they consume this. So you can see some energy overtake them.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you on that. But just to play devil's advocate for a second, because actually there's so much research going on into drugs, right? Especially psychedelic drugs. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about that. Now that we are talking about different realities, different entities, you know, it's in fact, Ram Dass, he was a professor in Harvard. Eventually, he moved to India and started following Karoli Babaji.
Okay.
But before, what he was doing at Harvard, and the reason he initially got fired from Harvard was because he was kind of already on that spiritual path, but he was experimenting with psychedelic drugs.
Okay.
Mainly, he was doing LSD and psilocybin, and he was experimenting with it. Now, that was then. Now, DMT is like everywhere. If you watch all these podcasts, even I think I saw this on Joe Rogan's podcast, he extensively talks about DMT like throughout his podcast. And he even talked about a DMT experience where he said that once he took it, he had visions of gods and goddesses and a godlike creature with many arms, many much like that look like our Ma Durga and all stuff like this. Do you think it's possible for anyone to get to that state through psychedelic drugs or no?
Well, I'm coming from a place where they use a lot of medicine. They call medicine to all these plant medicines, ayahuasca or fungus or things like that. Mushrooms, sorry, fungus, mushrooms, and then they end up connecting with the mixture of psychedelics, like how you said. I feel for sure these plant medicines have some deep connection with something spiritual, but sadly, like for example, the abuelos, we call them in South America, we call them grandfathers, because they actually, their connection with God was through nature and through using all these plants, medicine plants. So for sure, I feel like it's a connection there. But what I don't agree is they only use this to connect and not using yourself, your consciousness, to really connect with God. You are actually at the end depending on something to try to connect with a spirituality when we are by nature spiritual souls. It should come from our inside without any substance. So I feel like you don't really need that if you go deep and deep. We could actually, I have many friends, I have experience in my subconscious, I have seen some visions without having any drug or something like that. I mean, this is very personal, but I'm sharing with you so you know it's visions happening, and it's not just I'm imagining. It's actually we go deep in our meditation, and you can experience just by your breath, by chanting mantras, and by being sincere in your process. You don't need nothing else. You just need yourself to connect with God, and this is the real union, what we call Bhakti Yoga, the love of yoga, the yoga of love, that union with God. So you don't really need anything. You just need to be sincere, and we need to follow. I still, if you want to be a good student, you need to follow and you study. So same thing. If you want to really experience some spiritual spiritual visions, it must be some practices that you have to follow, and if you are willing to do with all your heart, it's gonna happen. So I do agree that yes, psychedelics open up spirituality, but most of people are taking it mostly for enjoyment and trying to go out from this material aspect. They're escaping a little bit, and then they stay there, and some of them, they may get lost. So I will say I respect my elders from South America, but I don't agree it's for everyone. I do agree that better be consciousness, be aware, because you are not fully aware when you are under that.
Exactly.
Be aware. Try to bring up your consciousness with a divine service to God.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that, be aware, and it's not for everyone. I totally agree with that, because in a lot of ways, if you're just doing it for escapism because you're tired of this reality, that's not what the goal is, right? And especially if you do, let's say you take mushrooms or you take DMT, and you do get a vision that's out of this reality, and it feels like it makes you realize that, this is just a illusion, etc., etc. Because it's a drug, you're gonna have an experience, but then it's gonna go down, and it'll be temporary. Whereas Bhakti yoga, it allows you to do it through within yourself. What you said, that it's relying on an external substance, is very different when you know that all that power is within yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And through meditation and yoga, you can achieve that state. And now that we're talking about it, I would love for you to shed some light on yoga, on meditation, because these days it's kind of getting distorted, especially in the West, because, as you can probably know, hot yoga, a lot of stuff,
Yeah, it's very interesting. Of course, yoga and meditation, we have to give all the credits first to India. It's coming from this beautiful place, and many people are connecting with the spirituality through yoga, through meditation. But yeah, as you say, sadly, many people are using either for showing up or just some physical activity to keep the body good. They don't really connect with that, the importance of really union again, because yoga is union between body, mind, and soul. And at the end, all this is connecting to the super soul, to the divine. So this is the real meaning of yoga, to unite all these three to the supreme energy. So people are forgetting this, and some of them, they just stay in the body and they don't go up. They just feel good, because actually I feel like yoga is the best. I don't want to say exercise, but it's actually the best. If everyone practice yoga, all the sickness, any pain, any diabetes, whatever that people are suffering a lot here in India especially, they can solve this problem with yoga. And I'm very sad that people in the West are practicing more yoga than Indians itself. It's such a beautiful lifestyle, I will say. But yeah, many people just stay in the, I feel good with yoga, my body good looks, and everything is good, but they don't go above. That is the idea of control the mind. That's why we have pranayama, we have the different type of meditation, tract meditation, and like the candle gazing, the sun gazing, all that is to help us to control the mind, the breath, the work. And of course, ideally is to go inside to our spirit, connect in that part, and as I mentioned, connect with the super soul. So people are forgetting about the real meaning of yoga. They are just commercializing. Sadly, they are doing all this type of beard yoga, dog yoga, and I feel like we should go back to the roots. It's very crazy. I have in Dubai. I also live between Dubai and India, and I also teach yoga in Dubai. And I was sharing with one of my friends. She asked me, I want to do a teacher training in India. And I say, yes, I did in this part. I did my teacher training in Mysore, but she wanted something, because she's already very good, physical body, very good. And I say, I want to take you actually to one place that you will connect more internally now. I want you to connect more mentally and internally, your soul. So I tell her to go to this specific place. It's in Govardhan Eco Village. She did a teacher training. And in Dubai, girls, I'm sorry to say this, they are wearing bras and they are wearing leggings, and they are just like yoga. Someone say yoga boga. It's like just like it's like yoga is just entertainment now. Who is more flexible, and that's all. Who can show off? This girl, she was sharing with me how much her, after this teacher training, like changed her so much that she's like literally another person, because she really connect with the roots of yoga. Now you go, she's very, she's very, now she wears her normal yoga pants, her t-shirt. Now she's like going in the deep meditation, and she's the happiest because she really understood the connection of yoga. She said what they are showing us in the West is not real yoga, what I came to India to learn. So she was the happiest, and she said, I want this to go worldwide. I would like to share this with everyone in Dubai. So I was the happiest, because there is still these schools that teach you the root of yoga, no? The connecting with these three: your soul, your body, your mind, of course. So I feel like this is very important, and I encourage many of my friends, Bharatiyas, many Indians, to follow this beautiful lifestyle, that is to practice more yoga, more meditation.
No, I definitely agree with you, and I'm so happy you talked about how it's been distorted and how people are doing it just for flexibility, just to do some movements. Oh, I'm doing the
handstand. That's the ultimate one.
Yeah.
You are a true yogi if you do a handstand. Yeah, nowadays it's like that.
Yeah, no, it is. And I'm so glad you put that because, and how you said that it's about connecting with the divine, right? And I think that's what many people, and I hope the viewers can take that away from this, because even, in fact, recently, even though I regularly meditate, and I started my meditation journey just probably in 2016. 2016, I started it. I started with transcendental meditation in the beginning. And in fact, recently I went to Hyderabad, and there was this global event, over 10,000 people, and it was basically a Siddhi program, right? And we went and we did TM, but then they also taught us a more advanced meditation practice, and it was for like around 2 weeks. And we were doing meditation there, and we were given sutras that were based off the Patanjali sutras, right?
Okay.
Patanjali. Yeah. And basically, eventually what happened was we were able to do yogic flying, which I guess it's, in a way, you can call it in a way levitation. And I was very skeptic. It took me like a week before I was able to put my mind to it, because as long as you think from the mind, you're never going to be able to be in that meditation state. The whole point of doing meditation is to get rid of that monkey mind.
Yeah, exactly.
And eventually what happened was we were able to do yogic flying, and it kind of changed. It took you out of the realization that, oh, I am just this body. This is just a body. So like you said, and this is just a vehicle. More than this, right? And I'm so glad that you said that, and hopefully the viewers take a lot from that. Right?
Yeah, I feel like many people exactly like what you experience, even me. The beginning was so hard to do yoga, but it's mainly because we cannot keep in one posture for a long time. And in our mind, it's like, oh, this is so tiring. Oh, this is so boring. And the idea, I will say, like, if you really want to start, the number one thing is what we did at the first time we came to this world, is we need to learn how to breathe. As soon as we focus in the breath, our mind is going to calm down. If you see, when you learn how to breathe, you learn how to control your emotions. You learn how to control your mind. You learn at the end how to control your body. And everything is so simple, sounds so simple, like, yeah, controlling your breath, but try to do for 5 minutes and you will get tired. So as soon as you understand the whole focus first go through the breath, then you will start understanding what is yoga. So that's what people cannot connect, because they try just in the posture and in the mind and they get agitated. But I will say the key is in the breath. That's actually how people say, my teacher actually say that yoga is about, we can say 70% is just breath, pranayama, how to learn how to breathe. The rest, asanas are coming later, but the first thing you have to learn in yoga is how to breathe, and then it's going to come the peace of mind and the control of the body. That's why if you do a posture that requires balancing, the only way you will learn how to balance, of course, is the focus, but now the key is the breath. The pain, that's why I don't know if you receive any chiropractic or something like that, so massage. They say what? Breathe. Any pain, you have to breathe. So exactly in yoga, if you are doing some posture, the only way to fulfill that posture is by breathing. To control the mind is by breathing, and we are forgetting the importance of pranayama. So it's very, very important.
Yeah. I'm so glad you said that. A lot of people do really just get stuck in the movements, and they don't realize that the breath is the most important part. You just saying that really, it just brought me back to a near-death experience that I had. This was in 2022, right before I came over to India and started working on projects here. I had an asthma attack, even though I didn't have asthma. Later, I figured out. I was working on a script, and I had a few of my co-actors there, and we were doing the dialogues. And suddenly, I was speaking my dialogues. When you do scripts, when you talk like we are talking now, we don't think about our breath, right?
Yeah.
Meditation, then all that stuff. I was doing my script, and suddenly I realized, oh, it's difficult to breathe. I'm unable to get air from my lungs. I'm unable to exhale, inhale, nothing. I was like, I was in denial. Oh, nothing is going to happen. I'll be totally fine. Eventually, my lungs, they completely swole up. And I do whatever voice I could use. I told my friend, call the ambulance. Call the
Whoa, you really like...
and I walked down my stairs and I just opened the front door in hopes that maybe just by getting some air, I could not leave this body, because I could feel like a sense of a release at that moment. And I was scared. For the first time, I was scared. All my memories flashed before my eyes. And the second I blacked out, the second it finished, I felt a sudden sense of release. And I wish I could say that there was a certain amount of knowledge that I gained during that time. They declared me dead. I don't know exactly how many seconds it was, because the ambulance came like 10, 15 minutes late. But when I woke up in the hospital, I had this sudden realization that I am one with the universe and the universe is one with me. I realized for the first time in my life that I'm not this body. I realized what you're saying, the value of breath. And since that point, my life completely changed. I started actually diving deep into spirituality. I came to India, started singing Krishna bhajans.
Wow.
Everything changed.
A really wake-up call.
Yeah, it was a wake-up call. Without that, I feel like I've gotten a second life. I'm not going to lie. That experience really brought the truth.
Yeah. I think like what you are saying brings me that thought that I was just having. I was just in Vrindavan yesterday, and I was just sharing with you before we started the podcast that after COVID, many people are receiving that spiritual call. Actually, you see most of the holiest places full, packed. If you go to Rishikesh, it's packed. If you go to Vrindavan, is packed. If you go to any Ajodhya, is super packed. Kumbh Mela, I believe it's going to be this time like double pack. So it's amazing. I don't know if people have the experience of, in COVID, we lost many souls, and people are becoming more devoted to God and visiting so many places. But I was just finding that interesting how people are coming more to the spiritual path nowadays, and that's interesting. The only thing that I would like to share is like, if you really visit these places, go with the intention to really learn. It's not just because it's a trend to go to spiritual places. It's not just because it's maybe Westerns are visiting and they want to understand what's going on. I mean, or just because, everyone is publishing, now I'm in Vrindavan, now I'm in Rishikesh, Jai Gangama, Jai Jamunama, and you don't understand the deepest of this holy place. So why I'm sharing this is because I was sharing with you that I've seen, it's kind of like a happiness at the same time, but at the same time kind of sadness, because I went to Vrindavan in 2011. I went to live there in 2011. It was kind of empty. It was not many people at all. It was completely different of how it's Vrindavan now. So I could experience a Vrindavan that it was kind of like peaceful, and it was easier to meditate. And I feel happy to see that many amount of people that you cannot even walk. Like, it's like, wow, so many people is coming to see Krishna. And that's so amazing. They're recognizing Krishna here in Vrindavan, in the holiest place. But at the same time, it's kind of sad to see, because many of the reels, because viral songs are happening, people are visiting just again for the trend idea or for just taking a picture, but it's not a deep understanding there. And why I'm saying that again is because I kind of like interviewed some people. I took the work to interview some people, and I asked, why are you coming? I was like the happiest. I was like, why are you coming to Vrindavan? And many people is like, because I saw in reels. Oh, because it's a famous place. And I was like, do you know anything about Krishna? Any pastime, any story that happened here in Vrindavan? They're like, no, I don't know anything. I just came to ISKCON and Banka Vihari. And I just want to take picture. And I was like, do you know what is the Yamuna River? Many of them, they don't even know. Many of them, they just want to ask what is Banka Bihari or where is Iskon Mandir. And they don't go above that. There are so many holiest places in Vrindavan. It's a whole branch. It says that branch is like a lotus that open up, like Barsana, Raval, Jadav, so many, Govardhan, of course. And people is not taking the real truth advantage of these places. So I will say, like, if you come to Vrindavan, number one, fill yourself a little bit with the knowledge of who's Krishna, why Vrindavan is so dear for Krishna. Because of course many people knows Krishna as Bhagavad Gita, the king of Dwarka, and the one who spoke the Gita. But Vrindavan, Krishna was in another mood, in a loving mood. He wanted to serve his devotees and allow devotees to serve him. So Vrindavan is a place actually of service. And remember, if you go to Vrindavan, the main service we can do is not just obtaining this magical experience and energy and prayers, but also I will say that Vrindavan requires a lot of love in the idea of not polluting this place, taking care, and I know this is kind of difficult to ask, but it's a lot of garbage already, so don't throw garbage and do some seva that is required in these holy places. And not only Vrindavan, actually in the whole world. The whole world is a beautiful paradise that God gave to us. So let's just keep that. I don't know. I'm sorry. This was my service before in Vrindavan. I used to pick up garbage with a group of people from South America. Our service was to clean Vrindavan. Our project was called Brush Vrindavan now, and we really wanted to see Vrindavan clean. And we did it for a few years. But after COVID, everything has to close up. And now it's even, the garbage is increasing way more. So for me, it's very painful to see that. After so many years we spent of serving Vrindavan in this way, trying to keep it clean, trying to teach people, especially the pilgrims, not to pollute, and to see how after COVID brought that many pilgrims, and it actually became worse in that aspect. I will like to bring this awareness to everyone, like serve Vrindavan if you come, and don't pollute it. Try to be as much clean, as much protect the green areas, and not only in Vrindavan, Rishikesh, Jadav, everywhere, Ajodhya. Now it's going to be Kumbh Mela happening, so I feel we need to protect our Bhumi Mata as much possible.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
So glad you said that. Yeah, to any of the viewers that are watching, what Ambika said, it's so beautiful, and it's true. You know, if you are a spiritual seeker, if you are going to like Vrindavan, for example, you know, it's not about give and take. It's not about something like you're seeing it, and there's like a prestige to it, and that's why you're going. Like Ambika beautifully said, that go with love, and through that love, you'll realize that you shouldn't litter, and you should keep everything clean. But you know, I'm so glad that you talked about how if you are going to a spiritual destination and a holy place such as Vrindavan, right, treat it with love, right? It's not about give and take. It's about purity of your heart. And if you're gonna treat Vrindavan, treat it just the way you would treat your home, or even you know, with purity and love. Don't litter. And I'm so glad you said that. Hopefully the audience can.
And I believe also that part of protecting is caring and cleaning the area, do some seva that requires to beautify the place. Vrindavan is giving us so much. Rishikesh is giving us so much. Like all these beautiful and holy places are literally helping us internally so much. So what is the best to do some seva and to try to make it cleaner, because we like our house clean, we like our room clean. So this is our real home, our spiritual real home. So I will give this invite to everyone to protect, clean, and really care for this. That's the best offering you can do for the holy place, for the holy dam.
It definitely is. It definitely is. And you know, you were talking about how many people go, you know, whether it's about spirituality or not, people see that, oh, this has a certain prestige to it or fame to it, and they go with that. It's kind of like a celebrity culture kind of thing. And I wanted to talk to you about that. We are living in a social media age.
Yeah.
You're on Instagram, I'm on Instagram. Maybe, you know, we both are introverts. We still have to post in order to share our message, share what we believe in to our audiences and our viewers. But, you know, even though social media has become a platform to share your wisdom and your experiences of spirituality, of love, of devotion, at the same time, it's also a way that many people are getting distracted because anybody can become an influencer right now. Jaiwala is becoming an influencer. Like anybody can promote and share their words and get hundreds and thousands, millions of views and followers. How do you believe, like the current Gen Z, the current generation, what can they do to make sure that if they do use social media, whether they're the people that are putting the information out or just scrolling through the reels, what can they do to make sure that when they do see those social media and they use it, that they take positive aspect of it, not the negative aspects?
Well, it's kind of difficult because even scrolling into social media is an addiction nowadays. It's a waste of time, I will say. Of course, I'm not gonna say I never scroll there. Of course, I've been falling in that trap. But I have some slogan on my head. You say Logan? Logan, like a phrase? A slogan. Slogan on my phrase. It's a phrase on my head that I think don't allow this to distract you. You be the distraction, and a good distraction. So what is a good distraction? It's a distraction that then is going to give you some lessons, some nice and wisdom. Like I feel like what we are doing today is something that many people can appreciate. We are not gossiping about this Bollywood star, that Hollywood star. Like at the end, this is going more deeper to spiritual knowledge, or just telling our experience, our spiritual experience. I'm coming from South America, Colombia, and really adopting and embracing this beautiful culture that India has for everyone. I feel that it's kind of inspiring for some. So why not to share these stories? You have an incredible artist life, and you are still so grounded, and connecting with God is a very incredible experience that you can share and inspire so many people that are in that path. Like I feel like sharing these experiences are caring for others. So I will say, like, yeah, I'm not gonna never tell you, hey, don't scroll, because it's just part of us nowadays. We are practically the phone is becoming just part of our hand right now. It's another part of our body. But at the same time, never allow this to fully take you, and put some timer in your phone. Check how many hours are you giving to your phone. If you are a creator, then share more things that help others.
Yes.
Can be even in self-love. Now everyone is kind of depressed a little bit, so we all know we all need like this inspiration to follow good practices, practices that take us out from all this suffering. Sometimes social media can depress us, can be with all the wars going on, especially me. I've been affected for that, or the amazing physical body that this model has, and I will never obtain. Like, this luxury life. Like, social media can really bring you down, because people is just showing the good side, the happy side, and it's just pretending. So remember that social media is not fully real. What is real is your habits. So remember to, if you want to be part of social media, do something that help others in a way. And this is what I want. I'm also an artist. I've been sharing some dance and modeling because that's part of my work. But I appreciate your work, and people like you inspire me to speak more And I'm very shy. If you will never see these videos of me talking, like
No, same.
I don't feel I'm capable yet, but I'm happy. I'm trying to share with you. But do these kind of things. Share more. Share your experience. Um, if you have some knowledge of anything, share it. I feel like we could all learn. Take now social media and all these mobiles, because it's. I will say don't take it. It's just, and how you say, like it's just part of us.
It's just
Just don't keep scrolling. Just put some times for fun, but make sure you are also filling your head with knowledge.
Yeah, don't become dependent on it. Like you said,
Yeah.
it's becoming an addiction, and that's exactly what you don't want. Because addiction might give you a high for those 15 minutes that you're scrolling, but then you'll get the low. And you feel
Yeah,
depressed.
exactly. It's like, woo, happiness, and later,
Exactly. No.
fully sadness. And
You know, because you did mention about sharing your thoughts, sharing your wisdom on social media, as an artist yourself, right? Whether that's in Hollywood, Bollywood, or just content creators in general, what responsibility do you think we have as artists to make sure that the content that we're putting out, the content that we're releasing, it doesn't have a negative message or a negative effect on society?
well, again, like I said, if you're just showing off your luxury life, if you are showing off your beauty only, I feel like this is, yeah, people can appreciate it, but at the same time, people will have some mental stress at the end, because they will say, oh, I don't have that. It's something like people are just, again, showing off. And I feel like the true value, again, what is sharing your knowledge, sharing your music of love, your whatever, if someone is an actor, I have seen many videos teaching such a good messages by acting. Like people can do so many beautiful things. Hey, let's go one day. Like this is something I want to do. Let's go, because this I used to do again.
Okay.
I was like, I had a social media called Brush Brindabanak now. Before I was not in social media.
Okay.
It happens, actually, I became very active after COVID.
Oh, same, exactly.
Yes,
During
yes,
COVID,
yes,
I was
yes.
like, oh, we're not being able to go outside. Maybe I should start creating content.
But I used to have a Facebook actually, and it was Brush Brindabanak now.
Okay.
And I feel like some people knew me. In those times, I was not Ambika, I was Brush Brindabanak now. Like act now because it's too late. Brindaban needs to be clean now. So I remember I was doing these lives and I was inviting people from Delhi, from Mumbai, from Haryana, from many parts. They were coming to clean Brindaban with us. So I feel like if many content creators, many influencers do this type of things that is going to make a big impact, I feel like that's meaningful and beautiful, and this will bring a good and positive change for, especially for youths that they are following all these content creators, instead of just showing the beauty. That this is something I just want to change in my social media. I want to kind of make this kind of things like we together can do something, a big change, It's this, if you want to see a change, do it yourself. So what the best is to do something positive. And I think social media, especially for influencers, do something meaningful. Meanwhile, you have that power, that many followers, do something that can bring an impact, especially for India, in the idea of protecting the earth, don't pollute, minimize the plastic, love each other. So much to preach about, so much to share about, and I feel influencers needs to do more of that.
No, I definitely agree with you. I'm so happy that we touched that topic, and because of social media, as you said, we should have a purpose as artists, and we should be sharing information that we know will have a positive impact. But I wanted to talk to you because nowadays, because of social media especially, a lot of different thoughts, a lot of different perspectives are being released, right? Are being shared with the audiences. Recently, there's been a lot of news about the rights for the LGBT community, right? A lot of gender identity topics are being constantly released throughout social media.
Yeah.
You are now deep into in Indian Sanatan Dharam and Indian values, Indian roots. According to you, what are your thoughts on gender identity, on the LGBT community,
Okay.
and what do you think?
Well, at the end, we believe we are not this body. If we go to the roots of our knowledge and what we believe is we are not this body. So if we identify too much, oh, I'm become this feminine and I'm in this feminine body, and we will get stuck only on that. So for us, it doesn't matter you are man, woman, any trans, wherever you want to identify. We know you are a living being, you are a soul, and we embrace everyone. This is our beliefs. Doesn't matter, like if you connect more as a woman, as a man, we embrace everyone because at the end, everyone is a living being. Everyone is a soul. We even respect animals. We even respect trees. So why we discriminate, transgender? I don't believe that. I feel like compassion and tolerance and love should be spread all over. But just try not to believe more that you are this and that. Just try to go more deeper and you will be happier. I feel that.
No, I think you beautifully put that in a way that it was even better than what I would have been able to describe it as. That, yeah, first of all, regardless of what you're identifying as, love everybody, right? We shouldn't be shaming anybody. We shouldn't be bringing hate upon anybody.
Yeah.
But what you said is so beautiful that at the end of the day, know that you're more than that. You're what you're calling your identity. There, if you go deeper, there's more than that. You're more than just male or female.
Yeah.
You're more than just your gender
Because this
identity.
body change. We see the changes.
Exactly.
We go from boyhood to youth and to old age. This body is changing constantly. But then what is not changing is our inside, is our soul. And this is transcendental. So when we understand that connection, that we are spiritual souls, that this is actually what we should be worth, and get more aware of that. Just in case, like, I beautify this body, let me do my nose job, let me do this, let me do that. We will be stuck on this, So I feel like go deeper. But love should be for everyone. Doesn't matter your caste, doesn't matter your religion, doesn't matter where are you coming from. I will treat the sweeper as the billionaire the same. We are all the same. Doesn't matter your sex. At the end, I feel like we should see everyone as transcendental. And the Veda says that we have Paramatma inside. It's not just our jiva, the soul, but we have Paramatma. And everyone is carrying God inside. A tree, animal, woman, man, transgender, anything. This person is carrying God inside. And this is how we should see, with transcendental eyes, with spiritual eyes, a spiritual soul. So I feel that's the most important.
What you just said, that we're carrying God inside.
Yeah.
That is something that I really hope the viewers take from this. I don't think we could end this conversation, although I can go so much further, and we will talk more. But for now, I feel like that's a great way to end the conversation. Love everyone, as you said, no matter the caste, no matter the religion. At the end of the day, we're all one, and we're all carrying God within ourselves. We are that. So thank you so much, Ambika.
Thank you very much. I was very happy to be here.
Thank you.